Adaptation, a change in response to a stimuli. In terms of sustainability, that stimuli would be climate change. Therefore, when in reference to sustainability, adaptation is a change in response to climate change. Transformational adaptation, although this is debated in the literature, is a radical and fundamental change in a system. Transformational adaptation can be described as changes across more than one system or system-wide change. It focuses on long-term change and the future. Transformational adaptation directly questions how effective that existing system is, power imbalances, and social injustices. Transformational adaptations typically come about because of system failures or in anticipation of a system collapse, so it's unsustainable. There is much debate in the academic research literature on transformational adaptation because it's still developing, where no set definition has been agreed upon. The challenge is that our changing climate requires interdisciplinary approaches that include the scientific, technological, and social dimensions of change. We require different ways of looking at and defining the challenges that this include. Transformational adaptation is a tool to identify what practical approaches might be used to enable adaptation that goes beyond incremental change within the system to build more resilient systems with capacity for transformation. Supporting transformational adaptation requires a system with a high degree of openness, adaptability, flexibility, the ability to change its basic operating assumptions, and the capacity to inquire systematically. That requires a steady change from business as usual, which can be far more palatable than change that may require us to question what we value and the way that we live. This form of thinking hasn't been suited to the current political and societal timescales. Instead, pragmatism has been offered because there is a limited appetite for significant action to adapt to the changing climate that encompasses cost and quality of living. Transformational adaptation can be argued to be based on the perception of an individual's values and worldviews. So, what is actually seen as transformational? By developing a more detailed sense of the system as it currently exists, including the history of that system, allows for interventions to be designed and feedback loops that enable learning while system improvements are being developed. However, if there is a poor understanding of the dynamic of that current system, any interventions to improve the situation are not only likely to fail, but may even make the situation worse. Making sense of complex systems in order to enable transformation requires us to develop our capacity to learn as individuals, as organizations, and as systems, as well as considering the ethical and long-term implications of decisions and embracing a participatory and co-evolving planning process for the transformational adaptation of the new system. Transformational adaptation requires creative thinking to imagine a new future. Transformational adaptation is a challenging, complex concept that requires long-term thinking that needs leadership to be comfortable with paradox and capable of paying attention to many different groups and perspectives at the same time. It is a powerful tool that, when executed ethically and correctly, results in system-wide positive change. Its benefits can be seen within an organization and within a government. To realize an equitable and sustainable world that benefits all requires qualities of agency that are grounded in oneness and a sense of responsibility for the whole. How do we create a sense of responsibility for the whole? Let's discuss it in the next video.